This is Saturday Morning Mysteries.
And we're your hosts, Alexis and Grace.
Go start.
Oh yeah, it's my turn to count. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Nice.
Hello.
Wow.
Hello and welcome all. Good morning afternoon officially, at least here on the East Coast. This is Saturday Morning Mysteries, Saturday Afternoon Mysteries right now. And we are your hosts. I'm Alexis.
I'm Grace.
And we are in the same room still.
Wow.
But for people who have been following us for however long you've been following us, you're probably like, oh my God, everything looks different. It's not a split screen. They're in the same room. And yes, it's because Grace has decided to crash on my couch for a couple of days. I'm allowing it. She's only paying me a little bit of money.
I paid her in comic books.
Actually, dope comic books too. Another story for another day. But nonetheless, she is here on the East Coast in the DMV, chilling, doing some work, hanging out with her pal and family and other friends and stuff too. But we decided what better thing to do than like record a couple episodes of the podcast.
Than to not leave the apartment.
Yeah, right. It's actually been kind of nice. Anyone who's familiar with this area of the country, it's humid as fuck outside. So it feels nice and air conditioned in here. And that said, though, we're here together to tell another tale, another mystery, adventure, investigation from a classic animated show. Of course, we have been talking about Chip and Dale, Rescue Rangers.
Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers. Chip and Dale, when there's danger. Are we going to get sued for saying
Probably.
This? Cool.
Disney is like super fucking strict,
I know.
Actually.
That's why I said, you know what? I'll do the how I do the image. Disney credit, I'll
song credit
in the corner.
Please don't sue us. And so yes, anyway, after this lawsuit is done being processed and we're bankrupted, anyway, Grace is here to tell us a tale of Chip and Dale.
Yes, a tale of Chip and Dale.
Yes,
nice rhyme.
Yeah, I couldn't leave that one hanging.
Yes, and so as you can tell, for also apologies about my voice, any upper inflections that happen will crack because at first, like 4 weeks ago, it was because of allergies. Last episode and this episode, clearly. I mean, your episode, I was moving so much.
Getting very comfortable here.
Yes, ongoing voice issues. This week was because of work and the state of the world things, a lot of yelling, all that stuff.
We'll
so I apologize.
Surmise it to say it is the end of June as of us recording this. If you're new to the podcast and are like, oh, what are they talking about? We record in advance. And thus Grace just so happened to be in downtown DC yesterday when certain things happened.
Certain news appeared.
Very big news for a Friday.
Yes, classic fucking Friday. Anyways,
and
so again, I apologize if you're a new listener. My voice doesn't usually sound like a prepubescent boy whose voice cracks, but it is what it is. This is what we're dealing with.
That sounds like someone who would have been present.
Exactly. Anyways, so we start our episode today kind of on vacation again. Not really on vacation again, but out of the country. But they're out of the country this time because they are in the Rescue Rangers gang are in hot pursuit of a criminal. So this is on Disney Plus. It's season 1, episode 22, called Ghost of a Chance. And I Googled what that title was in reference to because the titles are always in reference to things. And I learned 2 things. One, the phrase ghost of a chance is pretty literal because it basically means like not a chance in hell type of thing, like no chance at all.
Got it. The chance is the ghost.
Yes, exactly. And then also it's a song by Rush, apparently. Cool. Yeah, I didn't listen to it, but it's a song by Rush. Cool. It's a pretty good band.
Yeah.
So the first thing is relevant. The second one is not at all, it's obviously. Just a fun fact. Yeah, it was a fun fact.
But a song that we're definitely about to listen to
as
soon as
for sure. Yeah, I was like, cool. That's dope.
Cool.
So the Rescue Rangers are in London, England.
Ooh,
and let me just say, and I said this immediately after Alexis finished recording her episode from last week that we obviously, based on the setup and that we're in the same outfits,
just recorded
my voice, we just finished recording.
Yes.
The hilarity of our ongoing connection between episodes that, again, you've heard us say before, all we tell each other is what episode numbers we're doing. So
Yeah.
we don't do the same things. We make sure we don't accidentally watch each other's episodes.
Right.
And there always ends up being some like serendipitous,
yeah.
connections.
Oh gosh, I'm excited.
So
get even more comfortable.
a few things that we'll hit here. But one, the reason why on your last episode I asked what country it happened in.
Yeah.
Well, because mine's in Europe, so I was like, oh, maybe there's a connection there, type of thing. There wasn't, but that's why I was asking.
Yeah. Okay, fair.
But they are in pursuit of their number one enemy, Fat Cat.
Okay, can I say something? So
Yes.
when I first did a watch through of like a few episodes of this show, there were like 4 or 5 episodes in a row that all had
there's
Fat
like a
Cat.
series.
Yeah, so there was like the original movie, but then there was like another. Backtrack. The show started with like a movie, the Rescue Rangers movie, which turned into, they broke it into 4 episodes and like plopped it in the middle of season 1.
Yeah.
And Fat Cat is in those 4 episodes.
Yes.
Okay. So people who are like,
got it.
Yeah, just getting everyone up to speed. And so I watched those, and then like the next 2 episodes also had Fat Cat in them.
Oh.
And I was like, is this like a whole character arc? What is happening?
Yeah.
But I wasn't really paying attention, which is why I had no clue what was happening. Yeah, dude is in so many episodes.
Yeah, he is like
he's like their villain.
Exactly.
Yeah. So interesting that it was like just last week that we like started talking, last week of the actual episode.
So like 20 minutes ago. Yes, that we finally got to like the new villain,
because he's all up in this show.
Yes. And I learned from doing a little bit of research for this episode that not only is he the Rescue Rangers' number one villain, but he's especially a problem for our dear Monty, which I'll get into a little bit later. So before we get into the episode itself, I'm going to give a little more profile of Fat Cat and his background, since he's an important enough villain for the gang. And also like, because I wrote it, and if you guys, I'm just going to pretend that you didn't hear last week's episode. If you're jumping into this episode, you know who Fat Cat is. I'm going to describe him.
Cool.
So he is, surprise, like you said in your last episode, a large cat. Yeah, he's a fat cat. Very creative naming. He's a large gray tabby cat. Doesn't wear any pants, but he has like this blue button vest, like this red tie ascot thing, this deep purple jacket with like gold buttons. He's got like just 3 chunks of like black comb over hair and like a wiry, like spindly mustache turning up, like very classic, like rich villain.
It's like whiskers that are formed together as a like curly mustache.
Yes, exactly. And he's technically someone's pet. Like he's like, I guess, which makes him like an outdoor cat, basically.
Yeah, indoor, outdoor.
Yeah, exactly. The duel. And that's relevant because he is the cat of the nefarious underworld human crime lord, which is how he was like raised into being also an animal world crime lord. So basically, I assumed that, since he was a kitten, he was raised to be a mob boss, more or less. Yeah. And so I had to bite my tongue when you were saying this in the last episode of who his voice actor is. You were like, oh, I realized it was Cat from Cat Dog.
Yeah.
It's Jim Cummings.
Who,
first of all, is from Ohio.
Is he?
Yeah, he's from Youngstown, Ohio. I learned in my Googling of him.
Nice.
He is also Winnie the Pooh, Tigger, the Tasmanian Devil, Fuzzy Lumpkins from Powerpuff Girls, and Darkwing Duck.
I was going to say, he's Darkwing Duck.
Yeah.
He was also in Sonic. He played the main villain in Sonic too.
Like hundreds of credits to his name. He is
the legend.
Yes, yes. So when you were like, oh, he sounds familiar, I was like, I wrote this down. I want this for my episode. Damn it, Alexis. Awesome. I didn't want to give away that I had written that down.
I at least threw the cat dog one in there.
Exactly.
My God. Wow. So the same person who voiced Cat is Darkwing Duck.
Yeah.
I can hear it now.
It all comes together.
Amazing.
Yeah. So Jim Cummings,
another legend.
Superstar,
look at all these
powerhouse.
Yeah. I love it.
And so Fat Cat is constantly committing, various crimes. He's got a small gang of goons that kind of do like the dirty dirty work for him. And as we learned in last episode, but not this episode, sometimes it's the slave trade, we think.
He definitely exploits people for their labor.
Exactly.
No matter where they come from in the world.
Yes. And this episode, I will say it's like his like 3 go-to henchmen with him.
Cool.
Apparently the rescue rangers heard about Fat Cat's latest crime plan, so they flew to London in hot pursuit of him. And this plan specifically is a tried and true favorite of film and TV show criminals to steal the crown jewels from the Tower of London.
Of course.
Yes.
Wouldn't be a trip across the pond without
such a what other crime do you commit in London? And not only Fat Cat thinks, will this allow him to rule, he straight up says, all of the UK and like the British Empire, but inevitably the world, because he'll be hella rich.
Wow.
And connecting it to the episode you just did, which was in order of like the actual episodes in the show, the episode right before mine. So I think this is literal chronological order.
This is what I'm saying. Like, I have okay. This is what happened. Sorry. I have not watched this whole episode through. This is what I was thinking of. The way that Fat Cat got away in my episode, and then it leads into this episode. I was like, is this a character?
That's what I think. Yeah. Which, like, when you finish your episode, which is why I was writing stuff down, is because now I think, because at the end of your episode, we were like, what happened to Fat Cat?
Exactly.
Like, he just disappeared. He fucking hopped on a boat to London to steal more jewels.
Can I really quickly say, and then I'm done. Back to you. I didn't mention it in my episode, but the way that he got away, he somehow fell out of the building because the building like toppled over. Go back and listen to last week's episode if you're wondering what we're talking about. He went into a sewer.
Yep.
And like water flowed down the sewer.
Yep.
He went, oh my God.
He made his way to fucking London, baby.
Got to a channel of water in New York.
Yep. Hopped on a ship. Boogied his way out there.
Oh my God.
Yep. 100%. So I think, that this was Fat Cat's plan B when the rich person jewelry safe heist went downhill, got caught. He lost to those. All of those jewels in the Rangers, aka we learned Gadget and Zipper solved that crime, basically.
Yep.
So again, I think this is immediately what happened. He was just like, well, next jewels to steal. I'm going to England.
Look at the Rescue Rangers having like a storyline.
I know that
consistent
we're the ones putting together right now.
Yeah.
We did it
on the spot. Hello.
Toss.
You heard it here first.
Yep. Bam. Quick reference of and quick background for the Tower of London. It was built in like the 1000s by William the Conqueror, who clearly must have been super fucked up if his nickname was the Conqueror.
Yeah.
So obviously it was ordered to be built by him. He didn't do any of the work.
He was too busy conquering.
He was too busy murdering entire people,
taking over northern France,
et cetera.
Anyway,
so he had just had some huge victory, aka taking over somewhere by force, and was understandably nervous about a rebellion, and so he built this immense fortress to protect himself and to strike fear into his enemies. This was like one of the
Look
first.
At what I got, bitches.
Exactly, like come at me. It's like right on the river. All that kind of stuff. And over the river Thames. I think it is. Yeah. So over time, the tower has been expanded and changed to maintain a defensive stance and like fortify themselves against attacks. Like defensive walls have been built like that are huge. And different points of history like did serve different purposes. So at one point it like created the coinage for all of the kingdom. It made and stored arms and armor, and even like kings and queens, like the monarchy would like basically go there when they were like threatened, and like that is where their like safe house was essentially.
Where Cersei gave like Marcella and what's her name the poison.
Exactly.
Okay. We'll kill ourselves.
It's cool. It's a good plan. This is a good plan.
Not giving anything away.
Yeah.
I know you've at least made it that far.
Yeah. And so according to I should have written the actual website down, but basically there's like various
resources say
it was like this like historian of royal something. It's like a British government website. But it's especially famous for all of the supposed deaths that happened within the Tower of London. So
within
Henry VI was murdered there. And there's this whole mystery thing about the children of his rival, Edward IV, who simply it was like two princes as small children just disappeared while they were in the Tower of London. And then like 200 years later, skeletons of young boys were found. 2 young boys were found within the tower walls. So
how many years later did you say?
Like 200 years later or something like that. So presumably it was the young princes were murdered so that there was no heir to that throne.
Oh God.
There was also
conspiracy.
Exactly. I love a good
political thriller conspiracy.
Exactly. Yep. It used to be said like, oh, you're getting sent to the tower, which meant like, because at one point it was also during the Tudor age a prison, which meant like you're getting sent there as a prisoner and you're probably gonna get tortured and executed there. 3 queens of England were executed there, including Anne Boleyn, and some other ones. And as you can expect, there are many rumors of ghosts in the tower. As you can expect also from the title of this episode, ghosts are key to this episode too.
Okay. Wow. So we've got London
There's
ghosts.
a lot of layers. A lot of layers happening.
All right.
We're in it, baby.
Let me put these jackets on.
Yeah, we're going. So, like I said, the Rangers are following Fat Cat to London and they see him head to the tower. But interestingly, they don't see how, they just kind of see him heading that direction, but they kind of lose sight of him. They don't see how Fat Cat and his little cronies get into the tower, which is because Fat Cat and co have this like secret map about like secret entrances and secret passageways in the Tower of London.
Interesting that they acquired that somehow.
Yes, we don't know how, but Fat Cat is very like protective. Like will not, again, of this like his hair trigger temper, like one of the cronies, the little mole, like touches it and he loses his fucking mind at them.
This is literally for my eyes only.
Yes, literally. I'm pretty sure he says that. So, like in ongoing tropes of pop culture, it's that like the crown jewels on display are decoys and the real ones are like hidden within like the dungeons and like secret things within the towers, which is like usually what the like, if there's a show or movie that's going to steal the crown jewels, it's like, we got to go find where they really are, type of shit.
Right.
So as a really quick note, the crown jewels, because I was like, what exactly does that mean? Are the official items worn by kings and queens and other monarchs during the coronation ceremonies since like the 12th century. So this is like some old fucking shit. As well as other items that, like, again, other monarchs and stuff wear to show their rank and that type of stuff. There's like that big old like purple crown with like the little fuzz at the bottom of it. It's like TVH pretty ugly. Like, it ain't cute.
Honestly, none of this, like only the jewels are nice.
All
exactly. All the stuff that they embed them in is like really actually not fashionable. I guess maybe back then.
But today over it. And according to Wikipedia, there's a total of 100, so including the crown, 142 items ranging from like more crowns for other people, which was like cool. And then to things like there's this old ass spoon that's used to like scoop the oil for like anointing them. It's like a golden spoon from like literally like this is like 800-year-old type of stuff.
Oh my god.
Which is very funny. I know. So disgusting.
Also, like, well, never mind. Okay. Just ew.
But again, according to Wikipedia, in total, there's over 23,000 gems and stones embedded into like these 142 items.
Wow.
That's why it's like this some blinged out expensive like, shit. It's not just like
something that an individual would want to.
Exactly. It's not just like here's a golden scepter, I guess. It's like
you could
here's a shitload
of things.
Take
the jewels out and you can do a lot of really cool stuff.
Exactly. But since the rescue rangers are small rodents, they were just able to just walk in. So the Tower of London
bypass security.
They're just like we're here now. We're chipmunks and squirrels.
Why is everyone always complaining about this being so hard? Like this fortress
to break in. We just walked in. So yes, they're able to subvert that easily. And there they noticed this really big portrait, and specifically actually Monty and Zipper were on the lookout for it. Specifically, they were like kind of hyped. They're like, hey, a fat cat, there's some nefarious thing going on here. But you know what? Like
portrait.
Yeah, we've never been to the Tower of London. We know this portrait's in here. We got to find it. So they find it. And I'll tell you why it was important, why they're looking for it in a second. And so the dude is like this full body portrait. I think he's in a suit of armor or something like that. But right at the man's feet is this little mouse who's got like this big red hat and like a big plume feather. It's kind of like a Three Musketeers-esque get up and vibe.
Yeah.
He's got like, the big or like the puffy, like neck thing. I'm pretty sure he's got big old puffy hair and a huge mustache.
Okay. And
when they find it, Monty is overjoyed that they found this and is like calling everyone over. We're like, guys, look, let me tell you about this mouse. Sir Colby, like Colby Jack Cheese, is my ancestor.
So he comes from the Jack family.
He comes from Monterey Jack, Colby Jack, truly the Jack family.
Cheddar is probably somewhere in there. Cheddar Jack.
Yep, exactly. Anyway. So the tale goes that Sir Colby dedicated and risked his life as one of the great guards of the crown jewels and treasure within the Tower of London. Way back in the day when, everyone was trying to storm it constantly, they murder kings and queens.
Minor inconveniences.
Steal, the crown jewels. Also, like, prisoners, again, were tortured and executed there. Did Sir Colby have a role in that? We don't know.
I mean, if his portrait is hanging on the wall, I'm gonna say he was at least an important character in
exactly
all of this.
So
sorry, Monty, you might not want to be showing
you maybe shouldn't have been proud of his ancestor.
Monty's not big on history.
He didn't read up on all of this. And Sir Colby had a reputation of being the bravest of all mice in the land, fending again off thieves and rebels and evil cats like the Canterbury cat. Canterbury tale. Yes. Classic. Okay. So who was this?
Wow.
His like arch nemesis back in the day. He was this big like yellow cat who like was like strung out. He had like sharp, like razor sharp teeth and like was vicious. And I will say Monty points out that like, yes, Sir Colby was the bravest in his day, but I'm the bravest now.
Monty, show you are.
Oh yeah, show you are, mate. Which I will say, this goes into the like, or my theory is this adds to the like, oh, I guess it could make sense that like Monty would be Australian because Australia was originally like a prisoner colony from England. Like they sent their prisoners there, and ignored all the Aboriginal peoples of it. And they're like, well, this is a prison for our people now.
Prisoner Island.
Exactly. So I think.
And then the prisoners took over.
Yes. So I think at some point, Monty's ancestors were also clearly they were
British.
part of
it
British. They probably went there to continue being
especially
guards of prisons.
Like that much further back in history too.
Exactly. This all folds into Monty's backstory here.
They just like we half researched this podcast, the writers of Rescue Rangers half researched genealogical trends.
Exactly. That we're now putting together now.
You're welcome.
Exactly. So adding to the tale of Sir Colby is that there's a rumor that on a full moon evening when the night is still, Sir Colby's ghost walks the Tower of London to this day. But I will say Monty is like, ghosts. Like, that's not true though. Like that's some bullshit that people just talk about. Yeah, like only like fools believe in ghosts, essentially.
Okay.
So while the Rangers are having a little history lesson that again definitely excluded executions that took place back in the day, and probably like Colby's hand in that. Exactly. He's just being a good student. A good. Like, this is how I learned it in school. Yeah, exactly. So while it's happening, Fat Cat and his minions are winding through like these back secret passages of the tower in London. But while they're going through, they hear some familiar voices and they're like, God damn it, the Rescue Rangers are fucking here. Like,
how did they follow?
Are you kidding me?
I thought that they just changed the Ranger plane to be like fucking bike pedal.
Gadget was quick.
She was like, we gotta go.
We're on the move.
This. Yeah.
So by really convenient circumstances where they were hearing the Rescue Rangers, there happened to be this show. Some holes in the wall that happened to be the cutout of like So in the portrait, the eyes of the actual guy in armor, the eyes were cut out.
Yeah.
And they happen to be on the other side of that. So the little cronies get on top of each other's shoulders to look through, and they're like shifting the eyes of the portrait to like confirm that it's the rescue rangers.
Of course.
So yeah, classic. And and so they're like, God damn it. Like, it is the Rangers. We got to get going. Like, we got to get moving to find these jewels.
Yeah.
But as you kind of mentioned in your last episode, the little goons of Fat Cat, kind of dumb.
They are.
And are like very blatantly and loudly being like, Fat Cat, it's the rescue rangers. They're here. Like, just speaking it in normal outdoor voice volume.
So that, like, everyone can hear that.
So then Zipper just flies up and like, because they like jump down, Zipper just flies through like the holes in the wall and is like, oh, it's Fat Cat and his cronies. Like, there, the secret passage is back here.
Guys, I got
like we just need to find our way and then follow their trail.
Yeah.
But now the chase is on. They've all really seen each other. So they're like, okay, we need to find a way back to this secret passage. They start feeling around for secret entrances, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But instead of finding a secret entrance, they find themselves face to face with Sir Colby. The ghost of Sir Colby, who's crying. He's just like on the ground crying. For some reason.
Maybe he is remorseful for all of the murder and execution. Nah.
He's pretty chill.
It's like, that's why I was like a sir.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I got knighted. I'm damn proud of this. So the Rangers are like, first of all, ghost.
Right.
First of all, crying ghost. First of all, what the fuck is happening? Yeah, like what is happening?
What's going on?
And so Sir Colby explains, and you like kind of saw him, I will say, like appear a little bit and try to like mess with the rescue rangers. But he's basically sitting on the ground crying, being like, I'm a failure. I was trying to scare you guys, like, into the others because you guys were like, intruders. And I'm a bad ghost. Like, I can't even scare people. Like, I am not good at this.
Also, so he's a mouse.
Yeah.
Okay, but he's like a normal size.
Yeah, he's normal size mouse.
Okay, cool.
He was trying to like spook everyone, and just no one noticed him.
I guess I was just thinking back to there being like a giant portrait of him.
Oh,
and so thinking like a portrait of a normal sized mouse, like all zoomed in. And
yeah.
Like, wait a minute, what is this guy's like stature?
Yeah, no, he's just like a normal little mouse, basically.
Cool.
So, yes. So, he is saying he's going on through his tears because they're like, it's okay, dude. Like,
you'll scare us.
You're real
time.
scary.
Yeah.
The ghost, all that kind of stuff. And so, he actually explains that he's bad at scaring because he's actually cursed. And the part of the reason why he haunts this tower is because he's cursed and has to stay there.
Okay.
And to Monty's complete dismay is that we learn Sir Colby is cursed because he actually didn't save the jewels from the Canterbury cat. Oh no. Rather, when the Canterbury cat came to try and steal the jewels, Sir Colby fled his post in fear. He was like, I'm fucking terrified.
Oh, went AWOL. What do you call that? When they abandoned. Anyway, whatever.
Yeah, either way, he got fucking terrified.
Yeah.
Abandoned his post completely. This whole rumor of him being the bravest mouse of their ancestors is false. Monty straight calls him a coward and is like, you have all of my life and what I've built my like lineage on is coming crashing down all around Monty right now.
Monty. What did I say? He shouldn't have been bragging on him so much.
Like never meet your heroes.
Exactly. Even if they're related to you.
Exactly. never meet them. And thus his cowardice cursed him to haunt the tower for good.
Wow.
Yes. But, and Monty reveals like, oh my God, I am your ancestor. Like, this is horrible.
Yeah.
But Sir Colby is like, oh shit, you're my ancestor?
Oh, he didn't know yet.
Yeah.
Okay,
good news, everyone. As they would say. He doesn't actually say that, but I like
good news.
This is everyone. Because the curse can be broken. If an ancestor performs a brave deed in his name.
Okay, cool.
So luckily for him, after all these years, what were you gonna say?
I thought you were gonna say the curse can be transferred, but only to someone in the same lineage.
No,
so he's like, oh,
it can just be
Monty, I'm cursing you.
No, it can just be over and done with.
Better.
Yes.
I have dark mind. I was expecting.
You're like, goodbye, Monty.
Oh, yeah, push this shit on a Monty.
Sucker.
Fuck you.
No. That he can help out.
Cool.
So after all of these hundreds of years, an ancestor has finally arrived who's brave.
Awesome.
Or it's kind of unclear, like, were there no other ancestors who arrived? Were they all just like, no, I'm not gonna help you? That sounds hard.
I mean, or yeah, like
they could have all been in Australia.
Like
there's a lot of questions.
Why, like technically they like Monty shouldn't even really be at the tower.
Yeah.
Like so.
Again, it's unclear.
Yeah,
there's a lot of uncertainty.
It's not a place that you just kind of happen upon.
Yes, like you go as a tourist.
Yeah,
there. Or I guess solve a crime.
And also, if they don't know that his ghost is there, they're not going to be like, yes, let me go there to find his ghost and break the curse.
Exactly. It has to be a full moon night. Yeah. There's a lot of circumstances.
Rescue rangers are always just like right place, right time.
Yeah, exactly.
Right place, right time.
So either way, the self-declared expert on brave acts is there.
Mm-hmm. Self-declared.
And Sir Colby's like, yeah, I know how to fucking get around this castle. I've been here for hundreds of years. Secret passage right this way.
Yeah.
So they open the door to the secret passage, but right as they do that, out comes an enormous yellow cat with like crazed eyes and razor sharp teeth. Yep. Mm-hmm. And yelling at the rescue rangers. And yeah, Sir Colby's like, y'all, that's the Canterbury cat. Deuces, I'm out. And he books it.
I'm not equipped for this, as I already told you.
Yeah, I never have.
I wasn't equipped for it hundreds of years ago. I am not equipped for it
sure as hell not now. So he sprints out and he goes through walls. He's a ghost. He's gone.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're both ghosts. Well, the cat is also
And Monty, this is his time to shine.
Mm-hmm.
And he also books it. He doesn't fucking help.
How big is this cat? Is it like
it's a cat size
or regular cat?
I mean, I would say if you saw this cat in real life, you'd be like, whoa, that's a big cat. Yeah, like, oh damn, that
cat eats good.
Yeah, exactly. Like that is like a cat. Yeah. Like he's like
they're fighting.
He's not like chonky like that cat is, but more of just like taller and large size.
It's not like there's like 3 ways of drawing cats. I feel like in these cartoons, you have like the elegant, like cat, like the like either Siamese or like all white, like long haired cat, or you have like what sounds like Canterbury cat.
Yeah,
he's like big, like
he's a big ass.
Yeah, and then you have fat cat,
he
like
definitely looks
walking
feral.
on 2 legs.
Yeah, exactly. No, this is like a feral rabbit looking fucking cat.
Fat cat was actually built in a lab.
Yeah, exactly. So when I first watched this episode, I was like, what the fuck, Monty? You just abandon your friends. But I did a little research on Monty's backstory, and apparently Monty's home was burnt to the ground by a cat, specifically by Fat Cat.
Oh, geez, man, he gets around.
Yeah, and so since then, Monty has been terrified of cats in all forms, especially Fat Cat.
Interesting.
Including now, obviously. So the Rangers also like go in the same direction as Monty did, but when they get to him, they're like, the fuck, dude? Like, you just abandoned us to be eaten by this cat.
You embarrassed us in front of them.
Yeah. And you just see Sir Colby's eyes of just like, oh fuck, I'm never getting out of this curse. Like, this is the guy.
This is my life.
This is the guy who's here to help me. It sure is not. And Monty is like trying to like reason to himself. He's like, all right, it's not just a cat. It's a ghost of a cat. That thing ain't even alive. That's fucking terrifying. Wow. Like ghosts are scary. That's some dead shit. I'm not here to fuck with that. But either way, they're like, all right, well, you're clearly helpless. We can't figure out this curse thing, but at the very least, the rest of us can maybe stop Fat Cat from taking the jewels. Let's get our heads back in the game here. So
oh my God.
Colby shows them an even better, more direct shortcut to the jewels. Again, Monty is grandstanding the whole way of like, but next time, I'll really let the ghost cat have it. I was just spooked because it was a dead thing. No. I'll get my head back in the game. Exactly. He's like throwing punches in the air. everyone ignores him. They're like, yeah, you're worthless.
Right.
We all know it. Thanks for nothing. So with the insider as their tour guide, they do make it to the crowns first, or the crown jewels first. Yeah.
Tour guiding.
Yes, exactly. He's like giving like, and here's where I murdered this queen. Oh, Anne Boleyn.
Also,
I beheaded her.
Love that he had her the mouse that lived in the castle or the palace of Anne Boleyn.
Yeah, exactly.
I beheaded that mouse.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. Beheaded that one and that one, etc., etc.
But now he's too afraid of
of
cat.
everything. Yeah, the cat's no go. So yes, it's this secret room filled with gold and crowns and jewels and all that kind of shit. Funny enough, kind of to your last episode of like the hedonistic, like rubbing the jewels all over themselves. Yeah. They're like diving in and out of the treasure and being like, look, wow, there's so much money here.
Like a Scrooge McDuck. Yeah, treasure.
Literally that. And so as they're like doing the backstroke and all of the gold, being like, well, we got time to kill, no one's here, etc., etc. The Canterbury cat appears yet again. And is like,
does it like come through a wall, or does it?
We don't see how he enters.
It's just there.
Yeah, he's just like there. Now, I mean, presumably there's like lots of like ways to get into this. Okay. Like they came through kind of like a hole, like in the roof, like up in the rafters. There's probably a normal entrance too. Yeah. But also like ghost cat. So who knows how it travels.
I guess in my mind, I was just trying to imagine him like appearing in like
from the gold. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool, actually.
Super funny.
And so he is like swiping and like trying to snatch at the Rangers like directly. What does Monty do this time?
Run.
Jack shit. Yeah, he doesn't fucking do anything.
He learned his lesson last time.
Leaves the room entirely. He is fucking out of there.
What's up with Monty?
And thus, while Monty is on the run, he misses Fat Cat waltz in from the normal entrance. And with the ghost of the Canterbury Cat's help, traps the rescue rangers in like a small, like kind of like a little like jewelry box, I think, because they're tiny.
Yeah.
So
okay, makes sense.
Able to trap them, and Fat Cat goes, "Okay, Canterbury Cat, you can take your mask off now." To reveal the three goons standing on each other's shoulders.
And now it's time to Darkwing Duck.
Scooby-Doo.
Yep, all of our shows are coming together.
Yes.
Now. This has happened in every show we've done.
Yeah, there's always someone stacked on each shoulders in a costume. Undetermined where they got this costume of this like scrappy looking ass cat.
Yeah.
But they did. We're not going to ask more questions. So Monty thus misses. And I think like Zipper kind of followed Monty out to be like, dude, come back. What the fuck are you doing? So they miss the fact that the Fat Cat, and similar to our Darkwing Duck episodes, shit's about to get dark.
Oh, fuck.
In this tower of murder and execution and prisoners.
Yeah, we haven't already crossed into the dark territory yet. We're just now getting there.
But we're getting here now. So Fat Cat literally takes them down into like the depths and dungeons of the tower to a room that he like quote unquote says, this isn't on the regular tour of the tower. So no one will find you here for a very long time.
Oh, geez.
And this is emphasized by the fact that as it slowly pans across the room, there's literally a human skeleton tied to a pole, just hanging there.
So evidence that folks have died in here before.
In the depths of this tower. And then he goes through one by one trying to decide which torture device he wants to use on the rescue rangers.
Oh my God.
It literally shows, and he's like making puns out of it. He's like, this is a stretch too far on like that old ass wooden one that would slowly stretch you out. He turns to he turns to an Iron Maiden, which is like the metal things with like the spikes that would just slowly just slam on them or slowly impale you. And he goes, that one's just
I think like blows hot steam in or something.
Yeah, it's just all fucked up. And so he settles on the one that he thinks is just right. So he calls this the crew cutter. So it's an invention to, again, literally quote unquote, extract confessions from the guilty.
True serum?
The guilty, I'm sure, in many cases.
So a torture device.
A torture device. So it's basically you get like, I don't know if this is a real torture device, probably.
Which is a crew cutter?
A crew cutter is what they called it in the show. But the fact that they like just showed 2 real other torture devices, I assume this is real.
Like this probably is too.
Yeah, so it's like they get strapped down. The 3 of them get strapped down to like this board that has basically like a guillotine hanging above them. That's what I was thinking
of, that like swings.
So instead of that one swinging, it's like there's a bucket of water that swings and has like a small like hole in the bottom of it that's rigged up to the guillotine, that as the bucket of water lessens, the guillotine slowly comes down. So basically it'll be like a slow chopping up your head off, or the bucket will just like run out of water and fly up and drop the guillotine down. Basically it's like a combination of like a water torture and guillotine beheading situation.
Wow.
So yes. So he says Fat Cat basically straps him in, pours the water, explains what's going to happen, and then it's like when the bucket of water runs out, aka for those listening, does the classic slitting the throat motion. So yes, Fat Cat straight up is like,
I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, I'm gonna murder y'all, and you're in the middle of a dungeon. No one's gonna fucking find you ever.
You're gonna be like that skeleton hanging on the wall. You
exactly.
Little mice and chipmunk skeleton.
Probably
flies have skeletons. I don't know.
Yeah, like for some reason, I guess that was too graphic to show, but instead they showed like a human skeleton, like again tied to a pole in the middle of this thing, just hanging. Anyways, Fat Cat leaves them to their death and goes to get those jewels.
Cool.
So meanwhile, Monty is like, basically like he like is basically like out the window of like the tower being like, I gotta get some fresh air. I'm freaking the fuck out, man. Like
a panic attack.
Essentially. And Sir Colby comes out and finds him and is just like, so I guess I'm gonna be cursed forever, aren't I?
Is this my life now?
Yeah.
This is my life.
But very cleverly, probably not on purpose, but I'm gonna act like Sir Colby is passive aggressive because he goes, yeah, I get it. I abandoned all my friends too, and I ditched them because I was a coward.
Nice. He's a coach.
Sir
Colby was a coach in another life.
He's playing those mind games, baby.
Getting Monty's head into the game.
Which I will say, it did make me pause when I went and rewatched it. I was like, so does that mean that all of Sir Colby's friends died also? Like on his watch?
If he was like actually being serious. Like by the way.
Which again, I think he was, but I'm going to pretend that he was just being passive aggressive and playing good mind games. But anyways, hearing this, Monty was like, oh, fuck, you right. I got to go. If I can't be brave for myself, I need to be brave for my friends, which reminds me of the last Darkwing Duck episode that you did, where when Darkwing saw Launchpad and Goslin in trouble, he was like, you know what? I gotta do it for them. Like I can do it for them.
Yeah. Still super traumatized, but he's like, yeah, I'm gonna push through the trauma to actually save
we can do this.
Yeah.
So then Monty does run back inside to where the jewels are. So we met with, I guess, the Canterbury Cat got back into the costume. The goons got back into the costume.
Oh, that's right, because Monty left before they got in there, so he doesn't know.
Exactly. So they probably saw him. We're like, we need to find this last one. He just straight up, Monty jumps into the air and like sucker punches the cat and like knocks it to the ground, and like
that is a full 180 in character.
Truly, like straight up, just like anime, like spins in the air, like power punch, like knocks the goons out. Yeah, they like fall to the ground. And then I guess Zipper was like out doing recon, being like, oh, the other rescue rangers aren't here. I gotta find them. Realizes they're in the torture dungeon. Because again, Zipper is a hero kind of this whole story, or of this gang.
The gang.
Him and Gadget.
Him and Gadget are the rescue rangers.
Exactly. And so Zipper comes back, tells Monty, like, our friends are about to get murdered. Like, we gotta go save them.
BT dubs.
Yep. So I do want to say real quick, like, while Monty was just very heroic there by beating up the fat cat, I mean, not the fat cat, the Canterbury Cat, he is like, hey, Sir Colby, you got Fat Cat, right? I'm going to go see my friends. Bye. And just leaves. So like Fat Cat is still there stealing all of the jewels.
Yeah, as per usual, sends the henchmen to do the hard work.
Yes, exactly. And Monty's just like, oh,
F Fat Cat.
He's like 20 feet away from me. You got it, ghost who can't do anything, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool, thanks, bye. Which I guess it's like your friends might die.
You gotta weigh the benefit.
Yeah, you gotta weigh the options.
Exactly.
So, like,
I get like, yeah, they can go back and stop Fat Cat later.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like you said, Colby can't do jack.
Yeah, can't do jack shit. Hey, get a little jack action. The Jack family.
So they're like, we'll handle him in a minute. Let me get.
Yes.
My friends actually could die any second.
Exactly.
That bucket can do whatever the fuck.
Yeah. So I get it. And Zipper was probably like, we're running.
You gotta make a judgment call. Yeah.
Yep. So I think I would have made the same call.
Yeah.
Monty and Zipper are able to go and free the rescue rangers like moments before the blade slices down and almost beheads them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Classic, like dramatic fashion.
Yes,
yeah.
always. And Colby, I will say for his part, I think he is inspired by Monty, who was like, pun intended, a scaredy cat.
Yeah.
There we go. And, was able to step up and actually save the day and save his friends.
Yeah.
So, Colby is finally able to like muster up the energy to like become an actual like scary ghost and does float out of the like jewels and coinage all of a sudden.
Nice,
Yep.
nice.
So you called it.
Okay. Cool.
I do
like, it would look so cool. They couldn't miss
you
that
have
opportunity.
to. Yeah, it's classic.
Out of like treasure.
Yep. And so he does exactly that and like screams or whatever at Fat Cat, kind of like changes his form for a second to be a big old scary ghost.
Yeah.
And Fat Cat, who is, I presume scared of actual ghosts, like a ghost just floated up from jewels and is screaming in your face.
A reason to like, I know that he was joking about the Canterbury cat being
but like,
scheming about that. So he's like, oh fuck, this shit
is real.
Those aren't my henchmen.
Yeah, this one I did not set up. This is some real fucking ghosts. And so he is like, and like, and his backing up of fear. Funny enough to your episode where he fell out of the building. He falls out of the window of the Tower of London right into the River Thames.
Because, of course, all of the jewels would be like in a room.
Yeah, an open window. Yeah,
right
like
over the river.
Right, exactly. And so he falls out into the River Thames and is just like floating away on like debris that's suddenly there, just like cursing them.
Like shitting on England, like clean up your trash.
He would have drowned if your River Thames was cleaner. Okay.
Thanks. Yeah.
Get it together.
This is how you get rid of criminals in the world. Clean up your trash.
Drown
but
them.
Also funny because he's probably having trauma to like literally the previous
like,
week where he fell out of a building into a sewer.
Yeah, he's like, I hope. Honestly,
why does this keep happening?
I'm now wondering like what episode he's in next, like what country he's in, of like where he floated to next.
It should just be like they're following him.
They're ongoing.
Wait, so great. Were his henchmen with him? Did they fall out too, or are they still?
See, that's the thing. We have no idea.
Okay,
like
cool.
This was maybe their chance to like get free, but I think they all probably
criminal.
I assume they all probably just jumped out the window after him because they're dependent on this. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
And so I want to say how this episode ends. Of the Rangers are all celebrating and like we did it, but one Fat Cat could just come back with his henchmen and still steal the jewels. Exactly. Like there's no.
That window is still open.
Yeah, exactly. Literally, not window of opportunity, and that window he fell out of is still open. And so that's still an open-ended question. Yeah. But they're also celebrating because Sir Colby is like, you did a brave act. You came back and saved your friends. I'm free. He slowly is like floating up towards the sky and is just slowly like fading into nothingness in front of the full moon. So I guess like heaven or something. And he's just like, thank you, my ancestors. And then just like drifts into the clouds in front of the moon and it's just gone. And there you have it. That's how it ends.
Do the rescue rangers then start like laughing?
Probably. They're probably just like, oh, we did it. Like, wow, we saved your ancestor. Freeze frame. The end.
Oh, wow.
And then it ends.
And that is how it ends.
Yeah. So
great job.
Thanks.
I I don't.
So there's a lot of open-endedness in these Fat Cat episodes, I would say.
I think that episode almost like is the one so far we've done that best encapsulates the intro song.
Yeah.
Some crimes go slipping through the cracks. Like literally no one knew that no one knew this was going on at all.
And it could still just happen.
It sounds like they kind of happened upon it
because of your last episode.
Yeah, like they were in pursuit, I guess, but also like, no one from London got on the phone. Like, we've been having some trouble around the tower.
Yeah. Please, quick,
we need your help immediately.
Yeah. Nope, none of that. And again, he just floated away down the Thames. A free cat.
And next thing we know, he'll be like stealing jewels from some like pyramid in Egypt. Or
Exactly. We got to look into it.
Like a diamond mine in like Kenya, South Africa.
Yeah. End up in Asia somewhere. So
Yeah. Great job.
Thank you.
I'm trying to analyze like what other crimes. This really was just a case of jewel theft. Again.
I think that's just Fat Cat's on a bender right now for jewel theft.
That's all we've seen him do so far.
Exactly.
Which also like he's a cat. What is he gonna do with them? I know he's got like nice clothes and stuff.
I think I think something we have learned from Rescue Rangers, both from confirming between us that there was a mouse Vietnam, that Sir Colby probably murdered the mouse king and queen of the United Kingdom.
Exactly,
that there is, I think, some form of
animal
rodent,
adjacent
and that,
to the real
human world. Yes, and the fact that Fat Cat is like a mobster, like crime ring that. I don't know. So anyways,
he'll buy some stuff from the other woodland creatures.
Exactly. There's an economy
like his animal machinery and animal weaponry.
Yes, exactly. And arms dealing going on.
He's gotta upkeep that giant warehouse with the golden.
He needs a new golden statue of himself.
Yeah.
So he's gonna go to like Egypt to steal some like golden cat statue. Like how like ancient Egyptians worship cats. Maybe, I don't know.
I would love to see like a 10 episode like spin-off of or I guess it wouldn't be a spin-off, but literally them just like following him to like different cities, different countries every episode. Trying to take him down.
Watch 100%.
Like a cat and mouse chase an investigation story. Make it way too much of a thriller, like way more than it needs to be for a Disney animated show about rodents.
But every time Fat Cat falls out of the building or a window, and that's his escape on accident. And he escapes.
You make it like as serious as like Hans Gruber falling out of the building and Die Hard, though, like explosions everywhere, but somehow he still is alive.
Always. And for some reason, like what was that? Like who is it? Like Liam Neeson, like I will find you, like Taken.
I will find you.
I will kill you. Like for
that's
some
like
reason,
Dale on the phone.
Or like that's the vibe for some reason.
Love it.
So awesome. Anyways, between now and next week, where unfortunately we will be back to separate screens.
Unfortunately, unless who knows, maybe I'll just like stow away in the cargo load on your plane. And I'll take the PTO later.
I'll figure it out.
Sorry if any of my coworkers
are watching this.
But anyway,
who should our audience tell? This episode.
It's a beautiful day here today. We're going to do some outdoorsy stuff kind of. After this, we're going to be outside. So if you two are planning on going outside and enjoying the wonderful weather, if you've got nice weather in your area, I'd say the first person you see who is walking a dog, kindly approach them. First, ask if you can pet their dog. Don't
always ask.
Don't just reach in and pet. Just, ask. First say, oh my God, your dog is so cute. May I pet them?
Leave a little bit of distance.
And then say, hey, by the way, I've been listening to this awesome podcast lately. Try not to scare this person away. Continue petting the dog and saying, oh, you should, you good boy or girl. And then just like, name drop Satmore and Miss. Tell them to check it out because we are both dog lovers and be like, oh, hey, the host of, which who isn't, right? I mean, only people with souls are dog lovers. So anyway, just be like, they're dog lovers. You'd probably like their podcast. They sometimes talk about dogs because Grace owns two of them and they always make guest appearances or at least vocal audio appearances. You hear them, I'm sure. So do that.
Nice. I think while you're at the park walking around too. Speaking of just other animals and such, if you see someone, feeding the ducks or the birds or something like that with hopefully like good
not like just bread and
no shit. Rice that's bad for them, but
actual
like
meal.
Proper food for our avian brethren and friends. Go sit down on the bench next to them or near the counter and kind of like scoot a little closer
straight ahead.
and just like just silent. Like, people on the podcast are like, "Why is it quiet?" I'm scooting closer to Alexis.
Hear you shifting on the sofa, like
the bouncing.
And if the duck feeders like me, like take the shit out of their lap, like throw it to the side.
Exactly.
So you can get even closer.
And then tell them, "Oh, you like birds? I know a bird. She's a podcast host on Saturday Morning Mysteries. You should listen and have them listen to it." And then enjoy your stay at the park.
Can relate to the geese and ducks that they're feeding.
Exactly.
Awesome.
So, make sure you drink some water while you're out and about, and tell the dog walkers and bird feeders.
Boom.
And
enjoy.
We'll see y'all next week.
Until then,
bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Saturday Morning Mysteries.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share, rate, review, leave us a like, and drop a comment. We post episodes every Saturday and bonus tune tangents whenever we feel like it. So please subscribe so you don't miss the shenanigans.
And if you want to follow us on YouTube, click the bell under the YouTube subscribe button to receive notifications when new videos are posted.
And if you want to subscribe to the podcast, we have no idea what you're listening to us on, so just hit the big subscribe button on whatever app you're using. We believe in you.
Give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at SatmornMist, all the abreves, and let us know if you have any episode or show requests by emailing SaturdayMorningMysteries@gmail.com.
Thanks to Jenna Kendall for the logo design and to Ava Sakiki for the music used during this week's episode.
See y'all groovy kids next week on Saturday Morning Mysteries.